Hello there, Quicksilver Slash, and today I have a World of Tanks replay for you. I'm driving the American Tier 10 heavy tank, the T110E5, on Himmelsdorf. Now, I wasn't entirely sure I was going to share this game originally. I had a very solid game, but there's a problem that comes up that will be pretty apparent when it does, and it's something that is pretty prevalent in tanks, and it's really the community that needs to approach this issue and deal with it as a group. So, right off the start, I decide to head for the top of the hill. There's that dirt mound just near the castle, covers most of my hull and allows me to get shots over it, and I feel this is going to be the best place for me early on to make an impact in this game. As you can see, I'm being joined by a T-49 that goes racing ahead. There's this E-100 and several other medium tanks, tank destroyers, and another heavy tank following up the rear. But right away, T-49 goes racing around the corner to try to take a cheeky shot at their 1390, and the Batchat finishes them off. So I just angle to the right to keep that pile between me and any of the tanks that are pushing up to it, and then I approach it. Now when you're playing corners like this, you have to be very aware of enemy fire. So I see that 704 fire, pull out, put the shot into him, then I pull back. And this is how I'm going to play this corner. Try to expose myself to as few of the tanks as possible and only take the shots that I have. It's not as effective as focusing down a single target, but it exposes me to the least fire and keeps my gun firing. Until I accidentally got shot in the back there. I don't think that was intentional by anyone. No damage, no harm done. And that is going to happen, particularly in places like this where everyone's still sitting right on the top of that hill there, and right over here, and I'm sitting way up there. People are going to try to shoot past you, and occasionally you're going to get hurt. But I've already put 3 good shots in, there's a 4th, and this is what I'm talking about. This E-100 starts pushing me out. Luckily I'm small and light, I managed to turn and get back into cover, only taking 1 shot and 1 tracking shot. And I'm a little pissed. You can see my conversation in chat there. And I'm calling him out. I'm asking why he's pushing me out. And he said I'm eating his HP. Now to me, this doesn't make sense. I'm not shooting him. I'm not causing him to get stuck out. He's behind me. And he is somehow blaming me for his shortcomings. And this is going to go on. He's going to tell me, do it anymore, I'm going to kill you. You know, what is wrong with you? You're a heavy tank. Why are you afraid of bullets? Well, not taking shots is the best way to not take damage. I'm not sitting at the back of the map cowering. I'm right up at the front, in the mix of it, putting shots into enemy tanks. And I feel I'm doing a solid job. Every time I pull out, I'm actively shooting them, and I'm getting the most out of my gun. And he himself has just reserved himself to sit there. He's not going to shoot anymore, and he's got a problem. And this is why I wasn't going to share this. I wanted to keep my replays happier, but this is a very real part of tanks. This happens far more than I would ever like to see. I get that in an online community you're going to have your dicks and assholes, but it shouldn't be something you see on almost a every game basis. Sometimes you see it on the other team, sometimes it's your own. Often when someone dies really early on, you'll see them blaming everyone else, and it's rarely everyone else's fault. So I'm just going to use this moment to ask people who watch my videos, and I know there's not a lot of you, but those of you who do play, like, take a moment when something happens and think about, maybe I could have done something different to, you know, prevent the situation, whether it's a pair of people ramming into each other or the like. I know I've accidentally killed people both in tanks and World of Warships, and I try to apologize for it and adjust my play, you know, to the point where unless it's someone I'm in a platoon with, I won't take shots past friendly tanks just because I don't want to accidentally hurt them. But back to the game, finished off that 1390 and then the 704, and I see this Batshat 25 TAP, the Lorraine 40 tons replacement, was last spotted behind me, so I decide to turn around and go for him. And what do you know, he's racing up the hill. Bounces one off me, I put a big shot in, and I go for the ram. Unfortunately, he saw it coming, so I don't do much. So I start to back up to try to close off the avenue for this 131 to get behind me, and you can see I just managed to pinch him between the wall and my tank as I finish off the 25 TAP, and proceed to make work of this 131. Now, probably would have had another kill here, and most likely a top gun in this game, but T-34 came to help me, never going to complain about some friendly help. And the two of us use this hill to go racing towards cap, which is currently already a quarter capped by the enemy. But on this mode, you have plenty of time to make it to the cap. You can still see 55 seconds left. And there are people there putting pressure on. Still just going to try to get there as soon as possible. Could be some good damage in it for me. And you never know, maybe all of my team over there gets killed. And you can still see I'm kind of having a verbal debate with that E100. It was a little childish of me, but at the same time I was pretty irate that he did that. It's one thing to like accidentally pull up behind someone and pin them out, but to actively try to drive them out in front of the enemy I just think is childish and wish it wasn't a thing people did in this game. But on to post game. And now we're in the post game. You can see it was a pretty solid game for me. First class, number of ribbons, I got steel wall, Confederate, high caliber. I don't know what that E100 issue with me was. I was playing my tank the best way I felt I could, and he felt the need to try to kill me. And I mean, ultimately, I had 5 kills, 5,600 damage, and I beat him on damage and experience. I just really wish this kind of gameplay weren't a thing in World of Tanks. Like, it's bad enough when you come across a bot that just randomly, you know, drives around the map, sticking itself to a friendly and then just shooting through walls at enemies. But when the actual player base and competent players are playing like dicks and assholes, it can be hard to actually sit down and want to play sometimes. Look at the detailed report. 40,500, 3,800 experience, all said and done. Only one of my shots didn't go in. I hope you guys enjoyed this gameplay. I know it's a little different, it's a little down, but I felt the need to kind of share some of the things that do happen in World of Tanks. And just sharing the greatest games where everyone's your friend doesn't tell the whole story. So I'm going to have another game for you tomorrow. Thank you as always for watching.